Hey, everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios and brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's an award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho. He's a winner of 2020 Josie Award for Best Music Collaboration with Dusty Lee's Like You Were Forbidden, and he's also the most sought-after songwriter, collaborator, and premier performer in the Northwest music scene. He's been featured on Spotify, YouTube, and all the platforms as well, too. He also has an album called County Line featuring the title track, At My Grandpa's Table, Betting on a Bullet, and more. And he's got a new release called Lonesome. We'll talk about that. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios, somewhere in Boise, Idaho, up in the Northwest. He award-winning singer-songwriter from above Boise, Idaho, winner of 20 Josie Award, and the multi-talented Dave Nudo. Dave, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Howdy, how you doing?
Well, we're doing great, Dave. Thanks for joining us as well. You're an award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho. You're the winner of the 2020 Josie Award for Best Music Collab with Dusty Lee's Like You Were Forbidden. You're most sought after songwriter, collaborator, and premier performer in the Northwest music scene. You also have an album called County Line featuring the title track, At My Grandpa's Table, Betting on a Bullet, and more. And we'll be talking about your latest release, Lonesome, and more. And before getting all that, Dave, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I guess it all started back when I was a kid running around the family reunions and gatherings like that. It seemed like somebody had a guitar in their hand or playing a keyboard or some kind of thing, and everybody's singing and harmonizing and all that stuff. So I just sort of thought that's what you do, right? Decided about 19. Well, actually, I had a friend of mine show up at this party, and we're all just sort of hanging around, but he shows up with a guitar in his hand and he just sits down and starts singing songs, off of country radio for all of us. And we're like, I'm thinking I gotta learn how to play guitar so I could sit and play songs for all my friends, right? And that's basically what happened. And it just got a little bigger, little bigger and a little bigger over the years. But that's all I do anymore still is just get around playing guitar and singing songs for all my friends.
And it sounds like a really cool thing you're doing. What was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Oh, a precise moment.
The exact moment where it simply said, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay. So I think I can nail it down. I was sitting there with the guitar in my hand, learning how to play it and learning like some kind of my version of whatever song that I really, had loved dearly. And when I was able to hear myself recognizably playing it, it was pretty much then. And when I was, writing words, I had intended to share them with everybody that I could ever share them with. So that all happened right around the same time.
And who are some of your favorite singers, songwriters, and musicians growing up?
Currently, the guys that I look up to the most in the way they write songs, but I'd say the very tip top is Chris Stapleton. I mean, the guy's got such a cool voice, and then the way he puts words together is kind of the way that I want to hear them. So I'm quite fascinated with the way that guy does the deal there. And guys like Luke Combs, the other guys on top of country radio, Morgan Wallen. I'm always kind of watching what they're doing and trying to learn from them, even though, it's always been like my goal, not to sound like anybody in particular, but to see how they're doing it and try to do it that, write a song that makes me feel as good as, say, like Chris Stapleton put a song out recently, brand new thing called White Horse. I listened to him play it and I just fell in love with the song immediately. And then, so I guess my next goal is to make a song that makes me feel that good when I listen to it after I've written it.
And of course, you got some songs as well, too. We'll talk about Lonesome along with your latest album release, County Line, featuring title track and more as well with Dave Nudo. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. An Evil Evan enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and Mills. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and also take us with you on any mobile device, along with Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. You're here with the award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho, Dave Nudo, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about your latest release, Lonesome, along with Connie Line, you're the winner of the 2020 Josie Award for Best Music collaboration with Dusty Lee's Like You Were Forbidden. And congrats on the award. Tell us more about the song.
Which song are you specific about here?
Like You Were Forbidden. That's
Okay,
where
that
you won
one.
the 2020 award.
Yep. That was a song I just, I was laying in bed one morning, not quite awake, not still sleeping totally, but just a certain line popped in my head, and I got up and I decided I liked it so much I got out of bed and went and got my phone recorder. I always just record voice memos when I've got ideas like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started a pot of coffee and got that idea down, and then I went out to the studio and started writing it. And I had about a half a song written in about a half hour, and I went and showed that to Dusty Lee's husband, Wade Houston, and I also showed it to my wife, and both of them said, that might be a great song for a duet with Dusty Lee. And I said,
Nice.
not a bad idea. So we did it. We got it recorded and sent it on over to the Josie Awards, and we were just surprised to be nominated and happy as clams, as they say. And went over I went over to Pigeon Forge to the awards ceremony, and we were the first category up, and just about fell out of our chairs when she said Dave Nudo and Dusty Lee.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So it's like, well, we didn't have to wait very long with any anticipation being the first category announced. Anyway, it was a real pleasure. Best musical collaboration. I thought that was a pretty neat thing.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, you didn't go home afterwards, did you?
Oh, no, we hung around over at Dollywood and ran around Pigeon Forge. Have you ever been there?
I had some friends that live over there, but I will make a point to go to Pigeon Forks and visit Dollywood at the same time. Hopefully Dolly's there.
Yeah, that'd be great. She was unfortunately not there when we were there, but it's quite a ride. It's a cool place. I'd never been there before that time, but it was something to remember. So,
Mm-hmm. And plus, you're also most sought after collaborator, songwriter, and performer in Northwest music scene. And of course, you've been doing it for quite some time. And who are some of your collabs you've been working with?
well, let's see. I get together with a couple of friends of mine, and then that's actually how Lonesome came. But a guy named Jesse Bowie and a guy named Warren Taylor, a couple of dudes that I grew up with and have made music with for quite a while, off and on. And The most collaborating I've done is with those two guys, but I sat down with Dusty Lee as well, and we wrote. Well, I had a song, but I wanted to tailor make it for her a little bit more. So this song called 99 Halos that she released a few years back. Um, just got back from Nashville. I didn't get the opportunity to collaborate, but I met a bunch of those cats running around the songwriter rounds and got a whole bunch of contacts. So I'm fixing to make a few more trips that way and try to get together with those guys. They have a way of I don't know, I think it's the competition that drives them so to write such good songs. I just was so blown away by some of the guys in the rounds. Don't ask me any names because I can't think of them off the top of my head. But I did see Dave Finley. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but I knew who he was before I went over there. So yeah, cool.
Okay. That sounds really good as well, too. And of course, you also have some songs yourself too. Before we talk about the latest Lonesome, you also did the album County Line featuring the title track "At My Grandpa's Table," "Betting on a Bullet," and "You Drive Me to Drink." We Were Young and More. And tell us more about the album as well.
Well, that album, it was I had a few songs that I'd written over the years, and I was at the time, this is in 2017. At the time, I was playing solo shows and I didn't have a band, and I was just going around with a few songs that I'd written and playing some cover tunes and that kind of stuff. And I got to the point where I wanted to, make a CD. I was just thinking about doing an acoustic thing, but I came across a pretty hot guitar player, Robert Chase. Uh, and it was about that time I decided to go ahead and make a whole album. So there was a few songs that I had recently written, and then I ended up writing, I don't know, 5 or 6 more songs so I could fill out the album. But yeah, that thing came together pretty good. I went over to a friend of mine, Greg Goodell, over in Emmett, Idaho, who had a recording studio and I'd worked with before, and we put it all together and got it done. One of the tracks you mentioned was "At My Grandpa's Table." That's it's become one of the songs that when we play live shows, so, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to come up and make mention of that particular title after hearing the song. So I'm pretty proud of that.
And what is "At My Grandpa's Table" about? I'd like to hear more about it.
Well, so I always kind of tell a little story at the live shows, but this is how it went down. I didn't get to live real close to my grandparents, and this particular grandpa, my dad's dad, um, we got together with during holidays and that kind of stuff. And nobody really gets to know each other at those sort of things. But this one weekend, Dad and I went over to visit Grandpa, and we we didn't do a whole lot of stuff, but we talked a lot, and I got to listen to him tell me all sorts of American history, world history, and he was a World War II veteran, of
Hmm.
course. And I think probably the reason that the song got written was because he looked at me and he said, "I would have gladly died for this country." And to me, that seemed like a pretty powerful thing to say. And I could tell by the way he looked at me that he meant it. And I don't know. I just went home after that and had some time on my hands and a guitar. And at my grandpa's table, just kind of came out. It was pretty organic.
Hmm. And certainly does as well too. You also had "Betting on a Bullet" and "Do You Drive Me to Drink," and you can tell us more about those songs as well too. If there's other songs you want to mention as well, feel free to do so.
Oh, sure. Well, you drove me to drink. That was actually I mentioned Jesse Bowie before that I've collaborated with. I got together with him. He called me up and gave me that title. And so the next time that we got together, we sat and wrote that song. You drove me to drink. Now come pick me up. That's pretty clever, man. So, anyway, we made kind of a little rocker out of that one, a little country rock song. It's a crowd pleaser. Get everybody singing along with that one. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, betting on a bullet actually was I had this song written for a female friend of mine, Monica, who I used to sing with. I wanted her to be featured on the album, and she was unable to make the time, within our time of getting it all out and done, to come over and sing the song that I had written, or that her and I had written for it. So I went ahead and I just rewrote that song. That song was called "Woe Is Me." I went ahead. We had all the tracks recorded for it and everything, and it was all just sitting there waiting for her. But like I said, she wasn't able to make it, so I went ahead and sat down with a pen and paper one afternoon and wrote out all the words to "Betting on a Bullet" and got that thing on there. It turns out it's one of my favorite songs on the album, and it's
Nice.
always the one we open all of our shows with it. The
Hmm.
band.
That
Yeah.
is that is rather interesting. You also had Muddy Trucks, Dirty Women. I like that one. Water in Her Wine, and tell us more about that.
Oh yeah. Well, Muddy Trucks and Dirty Women was I don't know, man. I was kind of young and immature at the time. I thought that's a pretty true pretty true song, considering where I grew up and the things we did when I was a kid. And I don't know. It actually features I had my girlfriend at the time, who I have been married to since, but uh, we went mud running with her cousin, and she asked if she could drive my truck through the mud hole, and I said okay. And as it turned out, she drove it better than I did, and I was a little embarrassed and proud of her at the same time. But she made her way into that song. What? Oh, not Muddy Trucks and Dirty Women. That was County Line I was telling you about. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's
uh,
okay. I was just
yeah,
gonna
we'll
get
get
to that, but I'm glad you
yeah,
covered it.
yeah. Anyway, that was County Line that I featured. She drove it better than me. But Muddy Trucks and Dirty Women, it was all the same stuff. We were kids running around playing in the hills and getting mud all over the truck and that sort of stuff. And the Dirty Women part, I'm sure it's talking about like actual earth on their clothing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm
Oh yeah.
classy enough for that.
Hmm. Right, exactly. And of course, water in her wine glass as well, too. And if there's, like I said, if there's others from the album to talk about, feel free to do so.
Oh, well, I could talk about them all day long. Water in Her Wine Glass was actually written after that same girl. Um, had a little bit of a battle with substance kind of stuff, and after sobriety took place, I don't know, it just came to me. I seen this movie. These people were having dinner in a restaurant, and I could see that the lady had water in her wine glass. It wasn't
Mm.
wine; it was water. And I thought that's a clever line, water in her wine glass, and it just made me think about Tara and there's things she'd gone through in her life, and that's how that song came about. But one of my favorites on the album is War Torn Unsung Hero. One of my best friends, at Tim Schmidt Photo on Instagram. He's TJ Schmidt. I went to school with him. He was my best friend back then, and still is actually today. He's my photographer and videographer. He just helped me make a video for Lonesome that we're going to talk about here in a minute. He's a veteran, a combat veteran from the Marines, and he fought in Fallujah and over there, in the Middle East, all that stuff. And he came back after 8 years of serving, and he said, "I got a song title for you." And this is probably, I don't know, 2007 or eight. And he says, "War Torn Unsung Hero." And I thought, well, that's a good idea. I didn't have a song for it for a very long time, but when I was writing County Line, uh, um, I thought, now's the time if I'm going to put this thing to use. So I actually got together with him and sort of picked his brain about lingo and things like that, because I was never a Marine. I
Hmm.
So when they talk to each other, they say things in specific ways at times, and I just wanted to kind of pick his brain, and I did. Anyway, we put that song together, It's kind of about going over there and doing what you got to do, and then coming home and not really knowing what to do with yourself, fighting with PTSD and all that stuff, and just trying to be a normal, civilian kind of guy after living in combat. It seems like it's a tough struggle for a lot of those guys, and I just kind of wanted to honor them with that song. So I was pretty happy TJ gave me that title. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your base your lyrics on?
Oh, of that song?
No, just overall. What else do you base your lyrics on all
Oh,
your material?
oh, okay, got you. Pretty much just everything I've ever experienced in life. Either I've gotten ideas by watching certain movies or just watching things unfold in my life. Just, I mean, we all have our experiences, and somehow I'm able to capture a little bit of that, and also watching my friends and my family live in whatever situations they're in. A lot of times that'll inspire me, and I guess if you're of the mindset to sit down with a idea of making a song, it's pretty easy to come across inspiration.
Okay.
At least it is for me.
And certainly does as well too. And before we talk about the latest release, "Lonesome" by Dave Nudo, we'll get that in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Songwriter Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mia Molson's They're Missing. We'll be back with you, multi-talented war-winning singer-songwriter from above Boise, Idaho, Dave Nudo, after this time out. We're back to the award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho, Dave Nudo, here on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about County Line, the title track, and being sought after as well, too, and winner of the 20 Josie Award, collaborating with Dusty Lee. Let's talk about your latest, "Lonesome," man. Tell us more about that and what inspired you to write the song.
Well, that one's pretty easy. I got together with Jesse Bowie and Warren Taylor, and we wrote "Lonesome." And uh, uh, I always say, I'm all right at making music. I'm pretty good at writing songs, and I'm all right at singing songs for folks. But I'm not that good at relationships. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of times there's some struggle with that, um, making sure that you know that my wife's fulfilled as well. So words to a song called "Lonesome" are pretty easy to come across, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of them songs about some of the struggles within a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's pretty personal to me.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And
Just being able to interpret, I guess, what's going on and put it down into lyrics. It really is one of those things where I'm just not quite attentive enough, and
mm-hmm.
probably focused a little too much on music, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversations that can come along because of that type of thing. Um, the song was going to be called "Lonesome 2." Like, I know you're lonesome, and soon I'll be lonesome too, is kind of how it turned out. But just like I said, life is inspiring. So sometimes it's the tough stuff that you got to go through in order to be inspired. But that's kind of where that one came from.
Mm-hmm. And certainly did as well, too. And where can we find all your music at, Dave?
So at davenudoband.com, we've got the newest music up there. You can go to Dave Nudo on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere you can stream music, we're on there. So there's Dave Nudo and Dave Nudo Band, both. You can find different music. County Lines off before I got signed to Eminent Music, so I had released it myself, and it's under Dave Nudo Band. But everything that I've recorded over the last like 6 years is all under Dave Nudo. on every streaming platform. Got a brand new video coming out for Lonesome. Like I mentioned earlier, my videographer at Tim Schmidt Photo. That's SCHMIDT. I recommend you check out some of his work. He's a hell of a photographer, and he's getting real good at making videos. So I'm really looking forward to putting that thing out.
Okay, that certainly sounds great. And we're with award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho, Dave Nudo here on the Mike Wagner Show with Lonesome and more, and just a few more things. What else can we expect from you in 2023 and beyond?
Well, I think we got a few more songs to get recorded, and we're gonna go ahead and release everything as over the last couple years, that all the singles are gonna be piled into one album. I don't have a title for that yet, but I'm sure it'll be a fitting one. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I got a buddy of mine, Andrew Chappell. We're gonna do. We've got some shows booked where we're just doing like songwriter duo kind of a thing around this region, and we're gonna be heading over to the Oregon coast to do a short tour. I think we're planning on doing that in December. Then sometime in the spring, we're going to go across country over to Nashville and get into one of the songwriter rounds over there, and then tour our way back across the country back over here to the Boise area. So I'm really looking forward to that this year.
Okay, that sounds great. And we're doing the same thing as well. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, gosh. Well, it started way back. I mean, I like to go back in time with music. So, and you would be surprised. I mean, I talk about country rock, but I think Metallica is probably the biggest band I've ever, I'm a huge fan of heavy music as well. And Metallica is the go-to for pretty much everybody. But I've always felt like that was kind of some of my favorite music. Alabama, the country group, Southern rock country group, Alabama, those guys are just a total inspiration with their music, and then all that 1990s country, Garth Brooks, Diamond Rio, Clint Black, all those guys. I mean, all that stuff just really got it's hard not to be just taught how to make music with that. You know what I mean? But if I'm going to pick one specific person right now, it's going to be Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
He's got a great variety of styles of music that he puts out, and I just like I said before, I really appreciate the way he puts music and words together. So
and certainly talented indeed as well too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
All right, well, it's the best advice I've ever heard. I can't remember who it was that said it, but I was just watching this little interview one time, probably on YouTube. The guy says, "Work like a dog and don't have a plan B."
Work like a dog and don't have a plan B. I like
Yeah,
that one. That is the most unique I've heard. I'm about to work on that one. So
I like it too. Yeah.
yeah, I think we'll have to teach our dog that one as well, too. So we're here with award-winning singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho, Dave Nudo here on the Mike Wagner Show. Dave, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Well, you can get music from us on all the streaming platforms under Dave Nudo or Dave Nudo Band. And also go to davenudoband.com, and you can see pictures of previous shows, and all of our upcoming shows is on there, and then also a bunch of music, and you can download it. I think it's like $1 per song or something like that. But we've got a virtual tip jar there if anybody feels generous and wants to aid towards a tour van.
We will certainly do that as well. Once again, Dave, a very, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Wish you all best. And Dave, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thanks, Mike.